Okay.
Ma'am, you are not audible, Saima ma'am.
Sahil. Sahil.
Ma'am, you are not audible, Saima ma'am.
Benar nih. Ya off nih orang देखिए. ले लगा तुझ यहाँ.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
ये.
Was I not audible, sir?
You weren't audible. Now you are audible.
Okay. So now this is another activity that can be conducted in the class, that anagrams are the word and sentences that can be written in different ways to obtain more words, or groups of words create new words. So here are some words. The first word is SPEAR. Now what more words can be created using this word? You can type in the chat box. What more new words can be formed by rearranging the
Peers,
letters? Peers,
peers,
yes.
reaps,
Okay, great. Yes, reaps. Okay, now let us see the next word, reward. What more new words can be formed by rearranging the alphabets of this? Read. Okay, you can skip some of the letters also, but then form a new word. RED, read. Okay,
Edward,
Edward, war. Yes,
steel,
award. Okay, now coming to the third word, LEAST. Form as many as new words you can form. You can skip some of the letters from the word, you can rearrange it, and then tell
eat,
what more words can you form.
eat,
Okay, lead, as, T,
eat,
TEAT can be formed. Yes. C can
eat,
be formed. Eat, great. Last, okay. Okay, next word is REINS. So you can also have an activity like this wherein you
IN in
IN IN SIN sin and
siren.
okay. Yes. So next slide. So you have these words. Likewise, you can also have many words in the class and ask your student form new words. In this way, they will also enjoy the class, and then from there, their critical thinking will also start. So these exercises are designed to help you think laterally and discover new ways of looking at the things and at the world. Answer these questions using creative and constructive thinking. You can use as much as details you like for fun. Try to think on your own what would happen. What would happen if there were suddenly no computers, no tables, no phones, or any kind of gadgets anywhere on the earth? Yes. Tell your student to think of this question. What will happen if suddenly there are no computers, no table, no phone, or any kind of gadgets or anywhere on the earth? Now they will have
According
various answers.
If it is
Yes.
suddenly, then we'll get mad.
Yes. Next is, if we had to live in a world without electricity, then what will happen? If we will have to live in a world where there is no electricity, then what will happen? We'll be using more of a gray matter. Okay. Yes. Fuel will be in more use. We'll be using more of.
We'll use
Yes.
our sun. We'll use our sun, air, and water more.
Correct. They will have various answers. They will surprise us with their answers. They will have some answers which we might not be answering, but then they will be able to answer because they have their logical brain, and then they will start thinking critically. Now the next, diyas, fires, torch. Yes. If there is no electricity, then we'll start living in a stone age. Then we'll lit fire, and then we'll have all kind of fires around us. Next,
Even
you woke up one
investigation also
morning to
starts.
discover you had changed into the cartoon character.
Even investigation
Then
also
they will say
starts.
which cartoon character you want to become. Then they will start thinking what are the values, and how a cartoon character is depicted. So this give an access to the brain. Investigation also start, and then they also start discussing. Yes, investigation will also start, and the class will be very lively. Don't you think that the class will be very lively? And in between also, no matter which subject will you teach, we can have such questions in between the classes, which will break the monotony of the class, and will make your class very, very lively also. Next, if all the animals in the world could suddenly communicate with us in their own language, when all the animals start communicating with us, what will happen?
We will be in shock.
People will sleep early someday for the previous question. Okay. What will happen if all the animals start communicating with us?
Ma'am,
We will
first of
be
all, we will
mum.
If all the animals will start communicating language, we'll be able to understand what do they need. Talk to listen to them.
We
Correct.
will be
Yes, sir.
mum,
Next
ma'am,
slide.
mum. No,
Complain about how we have trouble. We will stop hurting them as we know. Yes, they'll be able to tell us, what is their pain and what makes them happy.
they might even take revenge and they might shout at us saying, "You did this to me."
See the various
Children can
answers
say
that are coming.
anything. Yeah.
Yes, they can say anything, anything. Yes. And even the
they
children, those
begin
who
they would
don't,
they would begin to rule the
yes,
world.
they would begin to rule the world. So, teachers, do you think that there are some students they don't speak up? Even we tell them to speak up. Do you think if we ask them such question, will they participate in the class?
Yes, of
They will
course they will.
Yes.
actually start participating in the class. Yes, sir. Next slide. Okay, one very interesting question. One house is made up of red bricks, one house is made up of blue bricks, one of yellow bricks, and one of purple bricks. What is the green house made up of?
The powder of
Is
blue
it a
and
Green bricks. Green bricks.
green bricks?
Greenhouse is
The
made up of
question
green
is
bricks,
Plants,
right?
plants, plants,
Us.
it is
plants,
for
plants.
plants.
plant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, greenhouse. See, we have also started thinking, this is also, puzzled us. Your friend says he can predict the exact score of. Now, read the question carefully. Your friend says that he can predict the exact score of every football game before it begins. He's right every time. How is that possible?
He's watching a
How is that possible
recorded
that he.
game.
Okay. Any other answer? Read the question. Your friend says he he can predict the exact score of every football game before it begins. He is right every time.
And he's
Assumption,
watching a recorded
okay.
game.
There's a twist in the language. Read it.
He can predict.
The score
Ma'am,
of
the score
every
is always
match
0 when it begins.
prediction. What is the score of every match?
Ma'am,
Yes,
it's 0
this is
every,
the right
yeah.
answer. The score is always 0 before it begins. So because of that, the person is always right. Yes, he's always right. How many books can you put in an empty backpack?
0.
How many books you can put in an empty backpack?
0, because then it won't be empty.
Waiting for the answer. 0.
Yeah, because if you put 1, then it won't be
One.
empty,
Only
right?
one we can put.
Maybe
Because when
1,
we
yeah.
put the first book, after that,
It is no longer empty.
yes, only one, because after we put that one book in the bag will not be empty, no longer will be empty. If you had to choose between having a rewind button or the pause button for your life, which one would you choose and why? Yes, thought provoking and open ended questions can be asked in the classes. Yes. Who is going to answer this? If you had to choose between a rewind button or a pause button, which one would you choose and why?
Rewind button, ma'am.
Rewind button.
Yeah, we can
Rewind
correct our
Any
button.
mistakes.
answers?
Yeah. We can correct our mistakes. We can
We
relive
can
our
correct our
childhood.
Rewind button. Okay. Okay, we can
Rewind and
rewind.
start
Okay,
going
you
in the
want to
right
use
direction.
rewind button.
Live our childhood by rewind button.
Okay. Yes, we can definitely ask these questions in the class. And when you will put these questions, in front of them, they will have various answers. They will disagree with each other. They will, have their own opinions. They will start thinking out of box. And what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is actually thinking out of box. If you were given an elephant and could would you do with it? If you were given, would you do with it? Okay, so next. So next slide. Yes. So you all must have heard about Bloom's taxonomy. So now we are going to talk about Bloom's taxonomy and how is it related with critical thinking skills. Now, earlier there was an old version of Bloom's taxonomy. Now it is revised and a new version has come up. Now, according to the previous version, the first is which comes below, it's knowledge is the lowest level, that is remembering. When the child is only the child is only able to remember the facts and the information, it is about rote learning, so that comes in the lowest level. Then comes comprehension, which is understanding the meaning of the information. Now in the second stage, when the child is in the second stage, the child is able to understand the true meaning of the information. And the child is able to understand the information. It is not about rote learning. Actually, in the second stage, the child is able to understand the meaning of the information which he has gathered. Now third is the application. The first is knowledge, the second is information, now the third is application. In this stage, the child is able to know what and where he can apply the knowledge which he can acquire from the previous knowledge. Now the next is analysis, when the child is able to break down the information and able to use it in different manner in new place and in different way. The next is synthesis, gathering and combining information from various resources and form a whole new information. In this synthesis column, the child is able to gather the information from various sources and then combine the information and use the information in the whole new way. Now the next is evaluation, making judgment. When now the child is in a position to make judgment with the information which he has acquired, he has reached the topmost level. Now the first version, which was earlier knowledge, now it is remembering. Remembering means recalling the information which was previously acquired. Now earlier it was just remembering the fact, now it is recalling or reconstructing the information, or from known to unknown, from reconstructing the information of the child, wherein the child is able to recall the information which he has already gathered in his previous life. The next comes is understanding. Now the comprehension is now changed to understanding. Understanding means constructing information from oral information, or the written information, or the graphic organizer, or various other sources. Now application is now converted to applying. We speak about experiential learning. So applying is all about experiential learning, when the child is able to apply the knowledge which he has acquired. Now analysis is at the same position. Analysis, now the synthesis is converted to evaluation, that making judgments, and the topmost is creating topmost level, that the now that what he already has, the knowledge that he, with all the knowledge information that please play the video.
Thinking is all about asking questions. The right questions. Questions that help you assess both the meaning and the significance of claims and arguments. Building these skills and applying them in your life makes it easier for you to assess evidence, evaluate arguments, and adapt your thinking so you stay switched on and engaged in different situations. Critical thinking involves stepping back from a situation to enable you to see all the angles before making judgments or taking decisions. It means identifying the key points, analyzing the sources of information, weighing up different types of evidence, just as a judge and jury would do in a court of law, and putting it all together into your own independent, thought-through point of view. One thing that it's very important to realize is that critical thinking isn't about being critical. And it's about much more than just finding flaws in other people's claims. By itself, that isn't enough to give you an edge. To be a true critical thinker means being creative, reflective, and adaptable, evaluating the evidence to decide for yourself what is accurate, what is relevant, and do I have sufficient information to take a decision on this topic? Thinking critically means taking a stand for yourself. It can be difficult not to be swayed by close family or friends' views on things, or certain beliefs that just feel right. But learning how to use these higher-order thinking skills can help you to feel much more confident in your own opinions and conclusions. Critical thinking is also about